Okay, we're back here a day later to continue on with making these videos. Before we go on to creating the chart, let's just compare what they did. This is the key that's showing compared to what I've done so far. Well, you can see that mine is a little bit wider. My columns are a little bit wider. And let me explain why I do that. If you were to go over here to the zoom button and make it just a little bit smaller, whoa, look what happens. We get the pound signs indicating that the columns are not wide enough. It even works if you go increasing it the other way. Now, if I compare that to mine, I would not expect that to happen. Wrong. It's even happening in my spreadsheet. So, I might do is go down to one of the percentage views where it is messed up, and then just widen a little bit more. Okay. Okay. A person doesn't need to have surprises like that if you're in the middle of a presentation and they go, squeeze that down a little bit so we can see what's over here on the side. You've thought of it ahead of time. Okay, on page 49, they have an interesting thing, which, interestingly enough, is not showing up right now. In the key, they have the auto-calculate area showing at the bottom of their spreadsheet. And this would allow you to just get temporary numbers here. Right mouse button, I can select, instead of average, I could select minimum or maximum, or in addition. Just play around with that, okay? On page 49, 50, 51, they discuss various ways to handle errors. Be sure you read that. Now, we're going to back up and create the chart, which is on page 38. When you create one of these charts, there's two principles. Try to get into a blank cell at the upper left, and do not highlight totals. You rarely highlight just totals unless you're doing a pie chart, and that'll be covered in chapter 3. So the wrong way would be to highlight everything like that. Also wrong would be to start in column B, because then we wouldn't be getting these labels in column A. In fact, sometimes if you have a year that you're graphing, it thinks it's a number, and the easiest way to handle that is to delete whatever is in this upper left corner, and then it goes, oh, these are titles, these are labels, not numbers. I get it. And then you can always add it afterwards. So the correct thing to do is to highlight those cells from A3 through G8, and then we'll click on Insert. We're doing a column. And this is, I guess, what you might call a cognitive disjunct. I always think things should be labeled at the bottom, so I think 3D column is this one. Not so. Their labels are at the top. So they're saying to pick a clustered cylinder. So that's a clustered cylinder. That's the first one. And it generates the chart. And we then get the four-edged arrow, and we can drag it down to where we want it to be. Okay? Now, hold the Alt key, it says, and we've got a double arrow here. Notice how it's jumping to a column at a time. This is what they call snapping to the grid. And you can resize it down at the bottom too, so that it's a little bit bigger. I'm going to have to scroll to be able to see that. But right here in the middle, you can grab that and then make your chart just a little taller if it looks better to you. Now the next thing they want to do is to select style 34, which is in row 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there it is. I have no idea why. Oh, I guess that's for the gray background. Okay. They want you to change the worksheet name. That's down here. It's amazing how many people don't know how to do this on the exam. Just double click and type a new thing. You do have to click away or hit enter to get it to stick. If you click on another sheet, it takes it away and makes it back to sheet 1. Okay, I have this thing saved in a really awkward spot. Do go back to someplace reasonable before you do your final save. Back in A1, back in the first number to type, back in the total, somewhere. And make sure that the spreadsheet is positioned so that when you open it again, it's opened up nicely. You want the best presentation value that you can have. Page 43, Document Properties. File. There they are. You can show all properties. And you can show the document pane here. Panel. You're supposed to change it to your name and put in the various comments there. These will show up when your file is saved and you hover over the icon. So do that. This is on the test also. I'm going to close it. Now, in order to be able to see more on a smaller computer, you can minimize the ribbon up here. See? Now I can see almost all of the chart. Okay, that takes us up to page 45, but in the next video we're going to see the extra requirements that the instructor wants on your assignment.